Hey man, we're about to film. What are you looking at? Instagram or something?
No, I'm just checking an app that tells me when I'm gonna die. So, just checking that out.
There's an app for that?
Oh, yeah, are you 2009? Of course there's an app for that.
You should probably just get on Instagram.
Hello, welcome to Visual Recreation, the essential video guide to winning FML each and every week. I'm your electrifying host, Drew.
And I'm Joey, and my time's very limited, so let's just jump right into the new movies.
There's 3 new wide releases coming this weekend to the FML slate, but let's jump off with Black and Blue.
Yes, Black and Blue is about a
Blue.
rookie cop who captures corrupt cops killing a drug dealer, and she teams up with the only person in her community that's willing to help her out.
How you gonna act like that? That's right, this movie stars Naomi Harris and Tyrese Gibson, and Black and Blue was directed by Dion Taylor, who directed The Intruder, which came out earlier this year, which was a fine film.
All right.
That's Quaid is crazy.
Yes. Now the next movie is Countdown. Now there's an app that claims it can predict when someone is going to die. Now a nurse downloads it, and she has only 3 days to live, and she has to find a way to save her life.
Oh my gosh!
Oh no, what's gonna happen?
Now this movie stars Elizabeth Lale and Jordan Calloway, and that's pretty much all the information we have on this movie, as the director for this movie only has done the countdown.
Well, time is ticking. Now the next movie is The Current War. And not like the current war, but current, like electricity. Because this movie is all about electricity war between Edison and Westinghouse, who teams up with Tesla, and who will electrify America first.
Now this movie stars Benefit Lumberjack, Michael Shannon, and Thomas Holland. And this current war was directed by Alfonso Gomez Rejon, who directed Me and Earl and A Dying Girl.
Directed you?
And Earl. And don't forget The Dying Girl.
Dying Girl.
Yeah.
All right.
But now it's time to get on to the crunch.
All right. All right, so let's take a look at Black and Blue, which is set to premiere in about 2,000 theaters. And last week, Pro Box Office had the long-range forecast to around $8.5 million, which was about 23% down from the previous week. Now, its opening range is anywhere between $6 million to $11 million, and early reviews of this movie are not very favorable at all.
Not looking good. It's sitting rotten at the moment. Now, when looking at comps, we looked at Only the Brave, which premiered late October in over 2,500 theaters with $6 million in its opening weekend in 2017. It was done by the same studio, came out around the same time. That was PG-13. But what else do we have, Joey?
Now, the next movie we looked at was When the Bow Breaks. It premiered early September in over 2,200 theaters, and it made $14.2 million in its opening weekend.
Again, done by the same studio, so we'll just see how that goes. Now, when looking at the Countdown is set to premiere in an estimated 2,500 theaters. Last week, Pro Box Office has long-range forecast around $12 million, which is a 14% decrease from last week, from the previous week, which is not that great. Its opening weekend range is between $9 to $14 million. Oh, and it's rated PG-13.
Ooh. Now, one of the movies that we took a look at was Happy Death Day, which premiered October of 2017 in over 3,100 theaters, and it made $26 million opening weekend. Now, it also had more movie theaters and more of a pool with the outside or outlandish concept that it had.
Happy Death Day from all of us to you. Happy Death Day. Oh, I hope you don't die slowly soon.
Oh. Well, I mean,
that makes a lot of sense.
Time is ticking.
That is true. You keep saying that, and I love that as your catchphrase. Now, the next cop we looked at was The Backs, which premiered November of...
What did you say? The Box?
The Backs.
The Box, okay.
The Backs premiered in November of 2009 in over 2,600 theaters with $7.5 million.
Right.
That was PG-13. That was a horror thriller, but it also had Cameron Diaz. It had James Marsden and his poofy hair, so it had a lot more draw in the A-list cast thing. And also, it came out in 2009, which is like 10 years difference.
And it's still only made $7.5 million,
which means that inflation, this one could make 12.
We did the numbers on that one. Yes, now, obviously the last movie, The Current War, we don't have much information on the current war at the moment, but Box Office Mojo states that it's going to go nationwide this weekend, and get this, no long-range forecast.
Chicken parm, you taste so good.
No opening weekend range.
Nope.
It's PG-13, and the reviews have not been good so far, and it currently, not electricity, but it currently stands at 32% on Rotten Tomatoes. So
that is not the best.
But the current war has been released overseas in the UK, Vietnam, Italy, and South Africa, where it made $3.7 million. So
that's right. Now, as we said, this one's pretty niche. It also has a director's cut that they're trying to get out there that could be like 2.5 hours long. Right now, we don't have any comps for it. It's pretty hard to comp. So we're just going to move on to the movie radar, or the MODAR. All right, so when looking at these 3 new releases, it's really tough to say which one could go over its long-range forecast, which one's going to stay around its long-range forecast, or what could come under its long-range forecast. Right now, The Current War is the wild card right now, because you don't know. It has a great cast. It has an A-list cast, I should say. Some are even from an MCU, but now it's coming from... but it's... You know what I'm trying to get at? It has an Oscar-type feel to it. And I feel as though... people think that this one could have been an Oscar-type movie, but it's not getting the reviews it needs. It kind of reminds me of The Goldfinch that came out not too long ago. It seemed like one of those artsy films that could really be biting and could really get out this time of year and really push for an Oscar pool, but it got 20% and 17% kind of reviews, and it didn't do so well in the box office. This one kind of worries me. I haven't seen too much for it. I've seen it in the trailers and the movie theaters, but I'll just say that it's a wild card. I don't know where to put it at the moment. Black and Blue seems like it could do something. It has a very political tone to it, I feel. It has a very strong, biting plot line. How well that's favoring with the critics is not good, and I don't know how it's going to favor with the general audience. Not having its long-range forecast keep on dipping is not a good look. I think this one can make... at its lower range of opening ranges of maybe 6.5 to 7.5.
Ooh, okay.
Maybe pushing 8. I don't know about that one. It just seems kind of out there a little bit. Countdown, I think, could be the one that could possibly go over double digits, maybe hit that 12. We've seen PG-13 horror do well, especially in October. Those high school students loved going in droves to those movie theaters on Fridays, on Thursday nights, on Saturdays, just going to these weird movies that they can buy their own tickets for and talk about it with their friends. So I have more faith in Countdown, even though it doesn't look that great, but I'm glad it's PG-13 because it has some fighting chance. Whereas if it was rated R, I would have no chance with this one. So with that being said, I have more faith in Countdown than the other 2. And that's all I'm going to say. I don't want to say that any of them are going to be going over its long-range forecast. I just have the most faith in the Countdown. And that's all I'm trying to say in the big clock I'm trying to go in.
Yes, because time is ticking. But... now, I'm not going to go into all the other movies. You pretty much said it, hit the nail right on the head there. My thoughts were...
Which that's how I'm said to die. A nail to the head.
It tells you the way?
Yeah.
I think it just counts down.
Oh, well, I've downloaded a different app.
Oh, there's an app for that? All right, so we just wanted to take some time here in the FML Shoutout. It's the middle of the season, midway through, so we want to kind of talk about what we like, what's going on. One thing that I really enjoy right now is the double feature. We had the best of the rest before, which I think that didn't really have potential to do anything, just because the movies were out of the slate. Don't really know what to add together, how that would be feasible whenever you have movies that are gonna really outshine the rest. So I like the double feature concept. I think it's a way better idea than best of the rest, and I think that having 2 movies to join together, you can gauge them more easily.
Oh yeah, definitely.
You can take those 2 movies that you've been tracking through the course of the previous weeks, continue to track them, add them together, and I mean, potential to be something good there. So
yeah, definitely. I think that's the whole concept. Is like we had 14 movies plus Best of the Rest, which could have been a slew of 30 other movies. So you're trying to take into account 30 movies over here, 14 other movies over here, and then you're trying to like guess which one. As long you have two, at least it's two. You've been tracking them before, and you got some ideas of where it could go. So my shout out that I like is I just customized my own little personal file. I did my profile. I put in 9 movies, and I wanted to keep going. I wanted to put my whole movie library that I loved. I had 9 movies at one point, then I put it up to 12, and then I thought of like just taking them all down and reorganizing them. I think this is a fun thing. You can put any movie in there. Yeah. It doesn't even have to be one that's been on Fantasy Movie League. They pull every single poster and put it on there. I love it. I have the first Halloween up there as one of my movies, and it's from 1978. No way that's coming on FML, but you know what? I put it on my thing, and it's fantastic. Now people can go on my personal settings and know all the movies and think that they know me. Yeah, and somewhat they do, because they know the movies I like.
A way to build up the community even more.
Yeah, exactly. So that's what I really like. I want to keep seeing what they do with it and add some more stuff to it. I love it. I love the changes, and I'm excited for the future of what they could be putting in later into the game.
Oh yeah. Yeah, and I think they got a lot more in store. So we'll see.
Store. Is that a clue? Do they have a store where you can buy movie posters?
I don't know, but time is ticking.
Maybe like skins?
I don't know, but time is still ticking.
I like how you keep on saying that.
I think we should probably like wrap this up. I mean, we gave you our thoughts, our comps, our takes on what could possibly happen this week. Remember, sometimes you gotta risk it to get that biscuit. Time is ticking. What's that?
Joey! You got Joey.